Hey everyone, welcome back to Rookie Swing. If you're new here, I'm Matt, a 40-year-old beginner with no official handicap, just working my way through this 100 rounds challenge and learning as I go. Today's mission? Distance testing. I'm using Trackman to figure out some baseline yardages for each of my clubs. Knowing roughly how far each club goes should give me a bit more confidence on the course. No more guessing from the fairway, or more likely the rough, and hoping I've got the right club in hand. So here's the plan. Hit a bunch of shots with each club, throw out the mishits, and record the averages. I've got Trackman set up with Titleist Pro V1 RCT balls, so the data should be pretty accurate. Just remember, these numbers are a good guide, but they might vary a bit on the real course because of things like different lies, wind, elevation, and temperature. Here's a quick look at average club distances by handicap. Feel free to pause if you want to check it out. Since I'm still learning the ropes, I'm expecting my results to be a bit all over the place, especially with the longer clubs. High handicappers often have less consistency across clubs, which is completely normal at this stage. I'll be focusing on carry distance today and using beginner level averages as a benchmark to see where I stand. So let's get started and find out how these clubs are really performing. As I go through each club, I'll be adding the Trackman data after each one so you can see the details. Things like carry distance, total distance, ball speed, spin rate, and consistency metrics. And just so you know, any duff shots or major outliers have been removed from the data. This way, you're seeing reliable averages that reflect my actual performance with each club, rather than the odd mishit. For this testing, the main focus is on carry distance. Carry distance is the length the ball travels through the air before it hits the ground. Essentially, it's how far you can reliably expect the ball to go without any roll. This is super useful when choosing clubs on the course, especially when you need to carry over hazards like bunkers, water, or thick rough. Total distance, on the other hand, includes any roll the ball gets after it lands, which can vary a lot depending on ground conditions. Things like soft fairways, firm greens, or slope can all change how far the ball rolls out. So while total distance is good to know, carry distance gives a more consistent measure for planning shots and choosing the right club. For some context, I'm using a 10-year-old set of clubs I picked up online. The clubs are solid enough, though I did have to replace the grips because the old ones were practically falling off. My coach had me hit as many balls as needed to get a good average, but as a beginner, consistency is still, well, let's call it a work in progress. The goal here isn't to break any records, I just want a better idea of which clubs I should actually be hitting, rather than guessing, which is pretty much what I've been doing up until now. Alright, so this is where things start to fall apart a bit. I think I ended up hitting about 10 shots with the 6-iron, before deciding to just move on. It was pretty similar to the 5-iron. Both of these clubs are just tough for me to hit at this stage in my game. And honestly, I'm perfectly okay with that. The distances ended up lower than my 7-iron, which is pretty common for beginners struggling with longer irons. I'll probably keep these clubs for practice on the range, rather than bringing them to the course, at least for now. For now, it's all about building consistency with the clubs I feel comfortable hitting. I was actually pretty happy with the hybrid shots in this test. Normally when I take it out on the course, I end up topping the ball and watching it roll a few feet, not exactly inspiring confidence. But here, I managed to get some solid contact, and the results were a lot more promising. So, while it's still a work in progress, this is a club I'm starting to feel a bit more comfortable with. Hopefully I can bring some of that confidence to the course. The 5-wood was also fun to hit. My coach mentioned I should be standing a bit further back with all my woods, which felt a little awkward at first, but it definitely helped. With that adjustment, I could feel a more comfortable swing path and got a lot more solid contact. It's a bit of a change, but I'm starting to see how a few setup tweaks can make a big difference. The 3-wood was a bit of a challenge. I found it tricky to hit here, and I've also struggled with it out on the course. So for now, I think it'll join the 5 and 6 irons as a range-only club. I'll keep working on it, but I'll stick with the clubs I'm more comfortable with when I'm actually out on the course. driver has been a tough one for me. When I got the new grips installed, I also had 0.25 inches cut off the shaft, and now it feels like a completely different club, in a good way. I was honestly close to giving up on it for a while, but with the new grip and shorter shaft, it's staying in my bag. I love it, and I'm excited to see how it plays out on the course. So that's my distance testing as a beginner. These yardages give me a good starting point, and I'm looking forward to building on them over time. For now, my focus is on accuracy and dispersion over pure distance, just getting shots to land closer together, even if they're not the longest out there. If you've got any clubs that give you trouble or tips for consistent yardages, drop a comment. I'd love to hear about your experience. And if anyone's interested in my full setup, I'm thinking of doing a what's in the bag video soon, although after this testing, a few clubs might not make the cut. I'm 40 myself, and I know average distances can vary a lot by age, gender, and other factors. But honestly, that doesn't matter too much. Play your own game. I'm not out here to make the PGA Tour, I'm here to enjoy the game, my game. At the end of the day, improvement in golf takes time, and for high handicappers like me, it's all about focusing on accuracy and enjoying the process. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.